the Always Believe house. Oh, we're about to have FUN, fun, because we're going to do Star Review 16. Fun. You just learned how to graph a parabola, learn all the parts of a parabola, the zeros. We're going to continue into that. So a magical whiteboard appears. Let's start rocking and rolling. And we are going to do number one. We got to graph x squared minus 6x plus 5. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to go to graph. And we're going to type in x squared minus 6x. And, Jiminy Crickets. X squared minus 6x plus 5. Okay, so we have x squared minus 6x plus 5 in. Hit enter. And we have our parabola, and we want to get to the bottom of that parabola, don't we? So menu 5, 1 is our trace, and we're going to hit the right arrow button. Notice one of the zeros is 1. Keep hitting the right arrow button. And right here, there's my minimum. So 3 comma negative 4, as you can see, is the minimum. That's my vertex. The range has got to be above that, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to go to our paper and put 3 negative 4 right here. Let me get my ink going. So 3 negative 4 would be here. And then remember, we're going to pick numbers above it. So 2, 1. Let's go ahead and put 0, 4, and 5. And we can put a 6 here, okay? Now then we're going to trace to those numbers, okay? So we're going to go to our calculator. 0, enter. 0 is at 5. 1, enter. 1's at 0. 2, enter. And 2's at negative 3. So I'm going to go to my paper. 2 was negative 3. 1 was 0. And 0 is 5. And remember, since this is symmetrical, the numbers are going to flip. So this will be negative 3, 0, and 5. Let's graph the order of pairs. So we're going to graph the vertex first. So I'm at 3, negative 4. Then I need to be at 2, negative 3. And then I'm going to put at 0, 0. And notice these are symmetrical. If I were to draw my axis of symmetry, the dots just keep repeating, don't they? Okay? If I put a dot on the right, I got to put a dot on the left. The last dot I'm going to put is right here. Notice it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be right here in it. If we connect those dots, we'll get our parabola. Ho, 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 ho. FUN, fun, okay? Now then, our vertex was 3, negative 4. And remember, also on the formula chart, there's an axis of symmetry. It's negative b over 2a. If I were to do negative b over 2a, I would put negative 6 over 2 times 1. That's going to be equal to 3, which is that number in it. That's going to be my axis of symmetry, x equals 3. Now then, let's go get our zeros. Our zeros are 1 and 5. They're the ones that output a 0. The y-intercept is your starting amount, which is 0, 5. The max or min, we got a minimum, and the minimum is negative 4 in it. That minimum also goes to the range. The range has to be more than negative 4. The parabola will never, ever go below this line. So the range has to be all the numbers above the vertex. And the axis of symmetry is going to be the x equals 3. That's the negative b over 2a. That's the formula that's on your formula chart. Let's keep going. Okay, so number 10. We're going to do this with store. We're going to store 2 for x, and we're going to store 3 for y. So we're going to store 2 for x, we're going to store 3 for y, type these in, and get our answers, okay? So we're going to hit home. We're going to go to A. We're going to do 2, control variable x, enter, and then 3, control variable y, hit enter. Okay, now then I'm going to get my paper here so I can see my problem. We're going to type in the problem. So we have 2y and then x squared, and I'm going to put times in there. Sometimes it doesn't work. 2 times y times x to the second power times a negative 3 and then x cubed, x up button 3 times y squared, and I need to put a times right here. Hit the right arrow button, hit times, and then y squared. So I have this, I'm going to hit enter. I get negative 5184. So I'm going to go to my paper, and I'm going to put negative 5184. Now then remember, we could get most of this by doing it in our brain. We've got to multiply 2 times negative 3, don't we? So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Okay? Now then, we have 3 y's. So we got y cubed, and we have 5 x's. So we're going to have negative 6x5 y3, which is going to be a. Let's try to type in a. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to type in negative 6 times y3, y caret 3, and hit the right arrow button, times x to the 5th, x caret 5, hit enter, and ding, 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 it works. It's negative 5184 in it. Okay? So remember, if you do this on the calculator, just type them in, one of them is going to match. You should not miss these. Let's go to 11. Okay, same thing, we're going to store 2 for x and y. Type it in. So let's go type it in. So 7x, hit the times button, parentheses, x minus 5y, times y, close parentheses, hit enter. Notice since I already had x and y stored, I don't have to change it. We get negative 182, don't we? Okay, so I'm going to go to my paper, and this is equal to negative 182. We would just type in all those answer choices and try to get the negative 182. Going to do this manually. Distribute the 7x. This is going to be 7x squared. 7 times negative 5 is minus 35. Then an x and a y. That matches up to b, doesn't it? So if I type in b, b is what? 7x squared, and then minus 35xy. And I should get the negative 182. I got to put a times in here, don't I? Put a times right here. Oh, I need to copy it though. Hold on. Let me copy it. There we go. And then put a times right here. Sometimes you got to put a times between the letters. You get a negative 182 again, don't you? So I get negative 182, don't I? Okay, just remember, if you store this, you will not miss it. You've got to be able to do this. We're going to keep going to number 12. Same thing, we're going to multiply these. We can do this. So we're going to go to our calculator. And we're going to type in number 12, which is parentheses, 2 times x plus 8, close parentheses, times, parentheses, 5x plus 1, 5 times x plus 1, close parentheses, enter, and I get 132, don't I? So I'm going to go to my paper and I'm going to put equal 132. Now then, let's see if we can do this by hand. 2x plus 8 times 5x plus 1. Remember, we're going to do full here, F-O-I-L, and we need to draw our arches, don't we? So we have an inside arch and an outside arch. The F stands for first term, so 2x times 3x is 6x squared. It's got to start with 6x squared. These are wrong. The last term is 8 times 1. It has to end in plus 8. Is that right? And these choices will not match up because it has to end in plus 8. 40, 42. The answer choices, when I did this, I typed in the wrong answer choices. Let's just finish it up. So plus 24x and then plus 2. So this is going to be plus 26x in the middle. Okay, this would be it, but this 22 has to be a 26 and the 12 has to be an 8. Okay, and that would be the answer. Let's see, 24 plus 2, yeah. So this A would work if this was 26 and 8, and I'll fix that up. So on your paper, this will be 26 and 8 when we do this, okay? This is one that I got to check. I got to fix that. Let's go to number 13, finding errors when I do this. You've got to be able to factor these. Okay, I made these real small so you can work them. Write down 15 over here. There's nothing in front of the X on the first two. The factors of 15 are 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. Remember, you could graph 15 divided by X and hit Control T and get your factors. Okay, we should be able to get these factors of 15. We want to subtract to get 2. The 5 and the 3 work. So we're going to put 5 over x and 3 over x. The 5 has to be minus, the 3 has to be plus. Negative 5 plus 3 is my negative 2. These turn into the parentheses. X minus 5 and x plus 3. Piece of cake. Let's go to the next one. We got 14. The only thing you can multiply and get 14 are 1 and 14 and 2 and 7. We want to add and get 9, so the 2 and the 7 work. And they're both going to be minus, aren't we? So we need a negative 7 and a negative 2. The x goes on bottom. Those are my parentheses. X minus 7 and x minus 2. Oh, the last one's a little bit harder because we got to multiply. I'm going to do this in blue. So I got to take 2 times 7. I'm going to get 14. My factors of 14 are 1 and 14 and 2 and 7. I got to subtract and get 5, so the 2 and 7 work. Then I'm going to go over here. I need the 7 to be positive. The 2's got to be minus, and these go over 2x. Okay, so the 2x here goes on the bottom, not just the x. The 2x plus 7 can't simplify, but this can, and it's going to turn into negative 1 over x. So it's going to be x minus 1. So the factors would be 2x plus 7 and x minus 1. Remember, you can graph these, and the factors will go through the parabola at the x-intercepts. Don't ever forget that, okay? 14. On this one here, we're going to graph and hit Control T. Or I'm sorry, graph. Yeah, Control T will give us these numbers. So let's go. Is this the same? No. Let's go to our calculator. It's x squared, chimney crickets. X squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, so we're going to go to home. We're going to click B, not C, B. Okay, delete, delete, delete. Hit tab. And then we want x squared minus 5x plus 6. So x squared minus 5x plus 6. Hit enter. And I get this. Now then menu 5 will, let's do Control T. And then hit the up button once. And then those are my answers. So if I input 0, my answer is 6. If I input 1, my answer is 2. Notice the 2 and the 3 are the zeros, right? So let's go back to here. So the 0 was 6, right? Make sure. Yeah, 62002. The 1 was 2, 002. The zeros are going to be the 2 and the 3, aren't they? Those are the x-intercepts. The zeros and the x-intercepts are the same thing. That's going to be, basically, that's going to be the solutions to the equations. We'll get into that soon, okay? Now then, number 15. Remember, very important, ax plus by equals c. Your slope is going to be negative a over b all the time. So on this one right here, the 2 and the 3 form the slope. The opposite of a positive is a negative. That's my slope. My x-intercept is going to be 24 divided by 2. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. The y-intercept will be 24 divided by 3. So if I divide 24 by 3, I get 8. So if you take the c and divide it by the a, you get the x-intercept. The c divided by the b will be the y-intercept. Got to remember how to do that. Let's go to the next problem. I'm going to change colors here. The 3 and the 2 will form my slope. So I'm going to put 3 over 2. The opposite of a minus is a positive. So my slope is 3 over 2. My x-intercept is going to be 12 divided by 3, which is 4. My y-intercept will be 12 divided by negative 2, which is negative 6. Piece of cake. You must remember these shortcuts here. The next one, my slope is right here. It's 2 over 3. On the next one, my slope is 3 over 4. And my point, this is my x, this is my y. You got to flip them. The point would be negative 3, comma, negative 4. Remember, in the formula, it's y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. These are going to flip. When you put them in or take them out, they flip. Let's go to the next one. This is just straight into the calculator, okay? So 4 to the negative 3. So let's go to our calculator, hit home, and then hit A. Type in 4, caret, negative 3. I got 4 to the negative 3, and it's 1 over 64. The negative exponent puts the number across the fraction bar. So really quickly, let's just try to simplify this. This would turn into 1 over 4 to the third, which is 1 over 64. The negative exponent flips it across the fraction bar. Let's go to the next one. We're going to write this in expanded notation. So I have x times x for x squared. My y to the 5 is 5y's. My x to the 3 is 3x's. And then this y to the negative 2 would go on the top. I'm just going to put it up here. Okay, so this y to the negative 2 would go to the top, and that would make it positive. Now then, let's look at our x's. I can scratch 2 sets of x's out. That leaves me 1 x on the bottom, and on top I got 7 y's, or y to the 7th. You just count them up. This will be on your test, okay? So make sure you can do this. On the next one, okay, I got x to the negative 3. I'm going to put 3 x's on the bottom. Y to the 4, I need 4 y's on the top. X squared on the bottom. And y to the negative 5, I need 5 y's on the top. Now then, I'll notice all the y's are on the top, all the x's are on the bottom. And I got 9 y's on the top, and I've got 5 x's on the bottom. Pretty simple stuff when you do it this way. So remember, the negative exponent flips it across the fraction bar. And let's do the next one. This is just straight calculator. So 216 to the 2/3. So go to your calculator. Type in 216. Hit the up button and then hit Control Divide, and we want 2/3, don't we? Hit Enter, and we get 36. Don't worry about what the fractional exponent is. Just put it in. I will tell you that later, what that fractional exponent does. Continuing on. On number 17, we're going to make this into a spreadsheet, and then we're going to get our M and B. So we're going to go to our calculator, hit Home, hit 1 for New. We need a spreadsheet 4. We're going to type in the X and the Y. And now then we're going to type in the spreadsheet. So 4, 10, and 24. And then type in 5, 7.7, and 14. So I have my spreadsheet in. Now then I'm going to hit menu 4, 1, 3, X down, Y down, Enter. Menu 4, 1, 3, X down, Y down, Enter. So we're going to hit Menu. Statistics is 4. Stack calculations is 1. The MX plus B plus 3 is the 3 one. Then X down, Y down, and Enter. And bam, right here's my slope. So my slope is 0.45 and my y-intercept's 3.2. Okay, so 0.45 and 3.2. The slope would be 0.45 and it's $0.45 per gizzard. So every gizzard you buy costs 45 cents, okay? And 80 gizzards, you got to do 0.45x plus 3.2 and put in the 80, right? So we're going to go to our calculator, point and hit Home A, 0.45 times 80 plus 3.2, enter, and it would be $39.20 for 80 of them. So it was a $39.20, sorry about that, 39.2. $39.20 for 80 gizzards. Talk about a great Super Bowl snack. Continuing on, turn the page. Number 18, this is kind of tricky, okay? So, Bubba went to Hart's Chicken and got 6 Cajun spicy chicken livers. That's going to be our starting number in it. He eats 1 chicken liver every 2 minutes. This is going to be tricky here. So every 2 minutes he eats 1. Okay? Write the function rule at the number of livers left. So y is our livers and the minutes is x. Now then, let's make our slope here. The number of livers is going to be 1 and it's every 2 minutes. So every minute he's eating half a liver. Does that make sense? The slope is not negative 2, it's going to be negative 1/2. So it's going to be negative 1/2 x plus 6. So 1 minute he eats half a liver, which means in 2 minutes he'll eat 1. So this is the livers, and this is the minutes. It's y over x. That's real tricky. This is the first time you see this, okay? The slope is negative 1/2, and it represents 1/2 of a liver each minute. Now then, we're going to go through and we're going to imagine that he's eating these whole, okay? So like right here, let's put a dot, and this is 6 livers, and then this is the minutes. So every 2 minutes he eats a liver. So we're going to have right here, this will be, and I'm just going to put the dots here. This will be 5. So at 1 minute, he's got 5 livers left. At 0 minutes, he's got 6. Then this will be 2 comma 4. I'm sorry, yeah. No, this will be 2 comma 5. 4 comma 4. And then 6 comma 2 or 3. 8 comma 2. 10 comma 1. And my points are not really accurate. And then at 12 minutes, it's going to take him 12 minutes to eat all the livers. 6 times 2 is 12 in it. Or 1/2 goes into 6. If you divide 6 by 1/2, you get 12, okay? So that's kind of a tricky problem here. Now then, our domain, the y-intercept is going to be 6. It's the initial amount of livers, or the starting amount. The x-intercept would be 12. 12 minutes equals 0 livers. He runs out. The domain is the minutes, which is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And the range is the livers, which is going to be starting smallest to biggest, 0 to 6, right? Ho, 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 ho. First time y'all had a problem like this. Okay, so your slope is not negative 2, it's going to be negative 1/2. It's livers over minutes, which is going to be 1 over 2. That's kind of tricky. Let's go to 21. On 21, if you want to make the equation true, you're going to use InSolve, which is menu 3, 1. So let's go ahead and do that on our calculator. So we're going to hit menu. Algebra is 3. So we're going to hit 3 for algebra. Numerical solve is 1. And then type in the problem. So 6 plus 2 parentheses negative 5x plus 2 close parentheses equals, and then 5 parentheses x plus 2 close parentheses minus 2x. And then remember, at the end, you got to put comma x. So we have comma x. Hit enter, and we get 0. So on this problem here, all the x's cancel out, and we have a number on the right. So 0 divided into anything, 0 in it. Okay? So this answer is going to be 0. So go to your paper. So x equals 0. And then let's do the next one. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to hit menu. 3 for algebra, numerical solve 1, type in the problem, negative parentheses 3x minus 2, close parentheses, plus 6 parentheses, x plus 3, close parentheses, equals 5x minus 4x. And then you put comma x. Okay, so I have my problem typed in correctly, hit enter, and we get negative 10. So the solution to that would be negative 10, wouldn't it? Piece of cake. Make sure you do not miss a numerical solve problem on your test. Okay, right here, we're going to get, we're going to put this into a spreadsheet, and we're going to get the M and the B. Always use a spreadsheet when you got this. So let's go to our calculator. We're going to hit home. We're going to hit 1. We want to never save anything. Click 4. Type in X and Y. Now then we just need the two dots. So 8 and negative 10 are my x's. And then my y's are negative 17 and 10. Now then, once I'm here, make sure your blue box is not over the 10 or it will give you an error. Hit menu 413. Jiminy crickets. And then X down, Y down, enter. And bam, I get it. Negative 1.5 and negative 5. Negative 1.5 and negative 5. So I'm going to hit Control C to copy. And I'm going to go to I need to change that negative 1.5. Well, let's do this. Negative 1. So M equals negative 1.5. And B was equal to, sorry about this. B was equal to negative 5, right? We got to change that 1.5 to a fraction. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to highlight this. And just hit Control C. And then hit Home and A. Now then Control V. And then Menu, Number, Convert to fraction, approximate to fraction, enter, and it's negative 3 over 2. So that negative 1.5 would be negative 3 over 2. So the equation is equal to y equal negative 3 over 2x minus 5. Next problem, okay, on this one right here, this is our x, this is our y. The slope is going to be 5 over 2. The opposite of a negative is a positive, and it's parallel. So the 5 over 2 is going to be our m. Okay, so we're going to do y equal mx plus b, and we know everything but the b. So we're going to solve for b. So my y is 6, my m is 5 over 2, times my x is 4 plus b. You're going to type this into nsolve and solve for b. I can do this in my brain, so that's what we're going to do. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Move the 10 over, you get negative 4. So b equals negative 4. So our equation would be y equal the 5 over 2x. And the b is going to be minus 4. So this right here would be the answer. Okay, we got to get to where we can do this. Remember, you got to get the slope from that line. It's negative a over b. Let's do the next one. Perpendicular slope. This is our slope. So we got negative 3 over 4, but we got to get a perpendicular slope, don't we? So that's going to be 4 over 3. This is my x, this is my y. I'm going to write down y equal mx plus b. I know my y, my m, and my x, don't I? So my y is negative 2, my m is 4 over 3 times negative 9 plus b, and I want to solve this for b. You're going to put that into nsolve and solve it for b. I'm going to do this in my brain. Negative 36 divided by 3 is negative 12. Move over the negative 12, you get 10. So it's going to be y equals 4 over 3x and then plus 10. That's going to be the answer. These are not easy to do, okay? So you just got to keep trying and just watch these videos over and over and get this down. Let's do the next one. Okay, on this one right here, we haven't done this in a long time. So we want to graph and find the intersection, but something special is going to happen on this. Notice on this one, the slopes are both negative 1/2. That means these lines will be parallel. They will never intersect, will they? Since the lines will never intersect, there's no solution. So if you were to graph both those lines, they would not cross. Now then, let's go to the next one. We're going to graph these. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to hit home. We're going to hit B to graph. Now then, hit Control T to get rid of that table. Delete, delete, delete. Hit enter. Hit tab. And then let's type in the first equation, negative x plus 3. Hit enter. And then we want to type in, hit tab. And the next equation is x plus 1. Hit enter. Now then, we got to find the intersection point. We haven't done this in a long time. Menu. We want to analyze the graph, which is 6. And we want to find the intersection, which is 4. And then we're just going to, you're going to click and then drag. Menu. Let me do it again. Analyze graph. The intersection's 4. I got this, and then I'm going to drag right here. My intersection is 1, 2. Y'all got to get really good on that on the calculator, okay? So my intersection on this one was 1, 2. Let's go to the next one. Remember on this one, they're both in standard. We got to solve it for y. So the x flips and the y goes on the bottom. So I'm going to have the opposite of 3x is minus 3x. The minus 2 stays on top. The 8 goes on the bottom. That's what I'm going to graph. Let's do this one. The 2x flips. The plus 8 stays on the top. And the negative 4 goes on the bottom. So these are the two problems I'm going to graph. So let's go to my calculator. Hit delete, delete, delete. Hit tab. And I'm going to hit control divide. Now then it's negative 3x. And then minus 2. Hit the down button. And the y was 8. Hit enter. That's my first line. Hit tab. And then let's graph the next one. Control divide. And then we're going to get, let's see, negative 2x plus 8 on top. And then on the bottom, I'm going to have negative 4. Hit enter. There's my two lines. We need the intersection point. Looks like it's going to be 2, negative 1. So menu, analyze graph is 6. The intersection's 4. I'm going to go over here, hit tab, go across. My intersection is 2, negative 1 in it. Okay? So I'm going to go to the paper. 2, negative 1 is the intersection. Ho, 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 ho. We are almost done. Number 23, we've got to write down the transformations. Remember, let's put this at the bottom. F of x equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. This is the slope or the steepness. This is left or right. This is up or down, right? I'm just abbreviating here. So the number in front of the parentheses is going to be the steepness of it. And then if it's negative, you're going to reflect it, aren't you? Things you've got to remember, okay? You did doodle notes on this. You've got to remember these. So let's go to here. The negative is going to reflect it across the x-axis. The 2 is going to steeper. It's going to be a vertical stretch of 2. Vertical stretch of 2. The plus 5, remember, this is opposite, so it's going to be minus 5. That's going to be a horizontal, I'm going to put an H, horizontal shift. Jiminy crickets. A horizontal shift, left 5. So those are the transformations on that problem. Let's go to the next one. We got to figure out the minus 1 and the 4. So the minus 1 is going to be a horizontal shift, but the opposite of minus 1 is plus 1. It's going to go to the right 1. And then this is going to be a vertical shift, down 4. So my vertex would be 1, negative 4 on that parabola, wouldn't it? The vertex would go right 1, down 4. Okay, the next one, the 1/2 is going to make it wider, so that's a vertical compress. So a vertical compress of 1/2. There's no parentheses in this problem, so there's no left or right. This is going to be down 5 in it. So this is going to be a vertical shift, down 5. Remember, on the star, this will be multiple choice. It'll be a little bit easier to do. Let's go to the next one. Okay, now then, I'm going to do negative b over 2 of this. We got to find the vertex, don't we? So really quickly, write down negative b over 2a. This is ax squared plus bx plus c. We could graph this and trace to the vertex, okay? But if I do negative b over 2a, I'm going to put negative 8 over 2 times 1. 2 negatives makes a positive. 8 divided by 2 is 4. My vertex is going to be 4 comma. That's going to be 16, 28, 4, negative 4. Okay, if I were to graph this, it'd be 4, negative 4 on the bottom. The axis of symmetry uses that 4, okay? So the axis of symmetry is the x of your vertex. Right here, we can pull the vertex out. The opposite, this is the h, this is the k. The opposite of minus 4 is 4, and then negative 1. The axis of symmetry is x equals 4. Whatever the x is in the vertex, that's it. Go to the next one. This is my h, this is my k. The opposite of positive 5 is negative 5. My k is negative 2. My axis of symmetry is x equal negative 5. Remember, the axis of symmetry is the x value of your vertex. And then going on to the last one, we got to get the domain and range. We're going to draw a box. And this right here would be open, and this would be open because it has the open dot. The domain goes from left to right. So my domain is all these numbers. It goes from negative 3 to positive 4. Put an x, less than or equal, but this is just going to be less than because of the open dot. The range goes from the bottom to the top. So the range goes from negative 3 to 4. Put y in the middle. This is only going to be less than because of the open dot, then less than or equal. And we have finished the Staar review. Wasn't that F-U-N fun, fun, fun? Was a blast. Keep doing these. You only got like 6 or 7 of these left. Keep doing them. It's going to make you better. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things. And you are awesome.